What's up? Episode 2 of Lists of Fury. I'm your host, Michael Palladino. And with me, our returning champion. We're going to start with him. You remember this man from last week when he dominated the competition. What was the things you got on the list?
What were your stats?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Was it John? Did I get John Creasy on the list?
Absolutely not. I don't remember that at all.
Okay.
Anyway, Richie Martin's back.
Tearing it up, as always. What's up? It's good to see you guys again. Happy to be here. Thanks for coming.
Runs the Taffy Room at Stand Up Scottsdale. So
He's cornered the market on Menudo jokes.
I run this city.
He does run this city. Mike
That's a lie.
Turner. Here he is. Yeah.
How we doing? In the building.
What if I said nothing and just left you hanging? That was
He's here.
It's just
He's here.
yeah. Oh, Mike Turner, very funny comedian. Runs the Showcase show at Stand Up Scottsdale, which I'm actually guest hosting this month. So
You're gonna crush it. I believe in you.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
It was actually a desperate plea, and
Did you need to hold this?
couldn't believe that you accepted it.
We know how.
He's happy.
Oh, that just looks like almost like real.
You
Like,
don't have to worry about it. I don't want to take away from.
yeah, I'm sorry. We just
'Cause I'm
totally
gonna
stepped
dominate
on
them
your
later,
intro.
so-
Oh, you're good.
Yeah.
I'm here. I'm in the building.
Mike Turner is here. He's a very funny comedian, and I'm glad he's here. And I just want to say thank you again for giving me the privilege of hosting that
Don't
show.
fuck it up.
I don't think I will.
A lot of
This
people-
episode will actually air the day after that, so otherwise I'd tell you to get down
So
there.
he might have already fucked it up.
We'll see. If you're watching this, contact me and ask me how it went. And then there's Jules Hyde, another very funny, cool
Hey.
local comic. Used to run the Ice House, or one of the Ice House shows.
One more show on the 20th. That's it.
R.I.P.
On the 20th?
That's it. It's done after
So
that, guys.
by the time you watch this, Ice House will have already been dead. That's the wedding song.
Well, that's the same thing, right?
That's where I started.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's where I started.
Yeah,
Came
that's
up
where a
in
lot
that
of people
room.
started.
Nice.
A lot.
Nice. Yeah, I've had a lot of
Shout
good
out
times
to Sean
there.
McCarthy.
Yeah, definitely shout outs to him. I couldn't have done it without his approval, and
Hey,
it was a great learning experience. Definitely.
And rest in peace, Arizona local comedy venues.
Yeah.
just dropping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Just getting smoked.
if you're a comic
Fried
now,
homies.
that's cool.
Fried
Try to,
homies.
Stay with
hold
it.
on to what you got. But I'm sorry, we're not accepting any more applicants for young comedians. You could just stay home. It's just us now.
Fucking sit
Yeah.
on
We'll
it.
Yeah,
we'll let
not
you
enough
know.
room anymore.
We'll let you know when we need more. We'll call you. Being that this technically is the Halloween episode, I'm glad we were able to. Don't do that. Don't fucking make. Yeah. Oh, I thought you were making faces at me or something. I
Nah,
didn't know.
dog.
Oh, you were doing. Oh, boys and
Yeah,
ghouls. Oh,
Halloween things in this Halloween.
scary skeletons and mummies.
Not a fan of hell.
Vault.
I don't care for this nonsense. You're like the eagle from the Muppets. That's your role on this.
Yeah, was
episode.
Sam the Eagle or something
Yeah.
like that? Very
ridiculous.
stern face.
Yeah, but so we were racking our brains trying to think of a good Halloween topic. Could have gone best scary movies of all time, but that's
Fuck that.
boring. And
Easy.
fuck
You
that.
Too
already
easy.
know that shit.
Too easy.
Is it too easy?
Yeah, I think it is. There's
Yeah.
There's only a handful
real
of
quickly,
awesomeness.
The Omen, the original. You're welcome.
That kid doesn't.
It's all
me-
for you, Damien.
I don't
It's all
even
for
Yeah,
like
but
scary
the Children
movies.
of the
Yeah, I
Corn
don't like-
would
I
have
don't
whooped
like
his
scary movies.
ass.
The
man.
Silence of
You
the
know,
Lambs, I
the
think,
Children of
would
the
be the
Corn would have
scariest.
surrounded him, and
Silence of the Lambs.
I would say Silence of the
Ooh.
Lambs.
I thought it
Lotion
was
on the
well
skin.
acted, good directing.
Because it's like that really
not
happens
terrifying.
kind of in real life.
Kind
People
of
like that.
terrifying. though.
happening right now.
Yeah.
Possibilities are great.
Somebody's eating
Yeah.
somebody,
I
right?
You know,
see.
I think about that often.
gross.
You know, like right now, somebody's getting split open. That's weird.
I would fuck me. Would you fuck me?
That's what Jules thinks about.
I'm uncomfortable
Sometimes.
right now with this
Buffalo Bill.
conversation.
I think about people getting murdered in horrible ways.
Yeah.
Once
Yeah.
in a while, you
I
know.
got sick thoughts, man.
Sometimes. Yeah. It's,
Clearly, the next
Sick.
logical step from best scary movies is most people from. How are we phrasing this again?
Dead-
History?
Dead people.
celebrities or historical figures.
Historical figures and dead celebrities you've most wanted to smoke a blunt with.
Good.
Dead guys from history you want to get high with, if you want to phrase it that
And then
way.
we've also
If you
there's a
deeper
couple
into
of,
that sort of thing, which
couple
I'm
of
not.
specifics beyond that too. Swisher Sweets and Good Kush. I think we're both assumed.
Sure.
Sure. Yeah.
White House can.
If you need to have
Like,
a
can we
full,
bring it back to the
White House. I don't know. Yeah,
Because
I
I'm
mean,
kind of like a.
sometimes I'm a Dutch master
Pre-2000s.
guy, but I think
Right.
Swishers.
Guess who's not invited to my dead guy party?
Ooh.
Jules isn't.
With the
Okay.
White House.
So yeah,
Upgrade your supplies, homie.
if you need to have a
Put
full
honey in
picture
the middle.
painted about what we're trying to do here, then yeah, what Mike said. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good Kush and Swisher Sweets. We'll just say
Okay.
Swisher Sweets. It's the safe bet.
Safe,
Yeah.
yeah. It's,
Yeah.
So much.
Everybody's
truth
pretty
from
comfortable
this
with
guy.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of truth.
So we're all
no
good.
flavor or anything either, just the original.
Not at all.
None
Yeah.
of that grape shit.
That's what.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I'm
That's
the
what I
odd man out
expected.
again. Looking, I had my mouth all ready for grape swishes.
Well, if you were to say different, blunt papers and different things like that, that would make me almost have to change who I have on here because
Right.
that would come into play. Like, well,
Oh, sure.
Okay, yeah, we
I
have
don't-
to have a static.
I don't know if Julius
Makes sense.
Caesar would like those.
Yeah.
He seems more like a tangerine flavored blunt wrap dude, if they even make tangerine.
You think he was?
For
That's
tangerines
an interesting
around.
take
Look,
on
Just a riff off the top
Julius
of my
Caesar
head.
Yeah.
ran game on little boys. He can smoke a blunt with me.
Well, a lot of Greek
Alright.
philosophers.
And on
are
that
touched.
note, here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that's a great start.
I'm going to leave it on the most horrible
What's
thing Richie
his,
could
what's
have
his
said.
origin
What's his
story?
ethnicity?
What's his origin story?
All right, here we go.
Rome.
Jules,
Same birthday.
Jules, since you're sitting at the end, you are our first person here.
Oh.
Number 5. Who do you think should go in at number 5?
Number 5, I said Vlad Tepes. He's the guy that.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah,
This
most
is
people wouldn't.
interesting,
Yeah, he's the guy that Bram Stoker did Dracula.
Oh,
after.
Vlad the Impaler.
Yeah, Vlad the
Okay,
Impaler.
yes.
Yeah.
He had like hundreds of thousands of bodies out in front of his castle impaled. He'd stick them on pikes, and it would take days for their body. I think this guy needs to smoke a blunt really bad. You know, like if anybody needed to
I
smoke
don't
a blunt,
disagree with that.
I think it would be him. Like, hey man, like you're doing this all wrong. You
Yeah.
could make
You
a
have
big
some strategy
salad
for him?
or something. You know, like you're going to be the bane of people's dreams for centuries to come.
You're a living nightmare.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you are
Like,
so
chill out.
awful.
Tone
Yeah.
it down just a
Yeah.
little bit. I don't think he had weed in Transylvania.
Would you not want to pick his
Yeah.
brain at all? Would you like? So you want to smoke weed with this guy to
Yeah.
like change his life?
Kind of chill him out.
Yeah,
definitely
but
not sativa.
I'm also fearful of the fact that he's like this
Seriously.
crazy,
In the
powerful,
couch.
like crazy dude, and that he would be all crazy on me, and then it would tip the balance, and then I'd.
That's beautiful.
He's a very
So-
interesting character because all I knew about him was that Dracula was based on him, and then I remember like reading something when I was a kid where it was like he was just very evil and he liked to impale. I mean, like he impaled people and put them out on his castle walls.
And who
things like-
doesn't?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
But then
that's
I recently
that's
learned some
regular
stuff
thing.
about him,
Pastime.
and it's really cool because it was like he wasn't inherently evil. It was like something happened where his brother was kidnapped or something like that when he was a little kid, and he got kind of like forced into having to be this ruthless kind of like. It was weird.
I
And
like-
so,
Sometimes
first of
life
all-
says you gotta
Yeah.
fucking impale a guy,
I like
so you
how
impale a
He's
guy.
the original George W. Bush, then. Is that
Exactly.
The coolest thing.
Put it that way, yeah.
Apropos. Apropos.
well, then I think they both need to smoke.
You know why I like that pick? Is because I know from your number 5 pick that none of ours are gonna be the same at all.
Yeah, right.
pretty
That's,
much about it.
that's a tone.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think anybody of like I really don't think any of us have any doubles.
that was my number
here.
3.
Very little overlap.
Yeah.
So that's a good one. Vlad the Impaler from
That's
Jules.
interesting,
thank
yeah, and
you.
I like the fact that it's like if you smoked the blunt with him, you think that you would get down some of the core issues, and maybe he'd calm down a little bit.
And butterfly
kind of bring
effect.
out some of the things like,
Yeah.
really, this is just you're a product of your environment, Vlad.
And
And
butterfly
I understand
effect.
a little bit more.
Down
I'd
the
be
road,
very liberal when
centuries
it comes
down,
to
when
Vlad
like
the
100,000 people didn't get impaled, like maybe we got free Pizza Hut on a Wednesday, or something like that. Like just
Bacon
the world
stuffed
was
crust.
nicer,
Something must,
Yeah.
something
Maybe,
good must have come out of that if that were to happen. Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyways,
yeah. No Holocaust.
It wouldn't have been as much conflict throughout Eastern Europe, I think,
Yeah.
if he didn't do that. Good
there would
point.
be
Or there'd be a lot more
there would
people.
be no vampire myth, and then there would be no Twilight.
And there might not be scary movies or Halloween.
No.
So actually, don't smoke a blunt with him.
Yeah.
Maybe don't.
Jules
so
is
there's-
out.
Jules
is out.
We might never have Dracula
Bummer.
nor
Well,
Halloween.
Let's see how Vlad the Impaler stacks up against the
So
other entrants.
I'm going with Genghis Khan. I'm gonna smoke a blunt. With
We're gonna
Genghis
hit
Khan.
everybody that was in Bill and Ted, right?
And yeah, right.
That's gonna.
I want to smoke a blunt with
I
Genghis
definitely have some on my
Khan. I also, and this also assumes that I can also get a translator. But because I want to be on the same page as him. I mean, that would be crazy to just smoke a blunt.
turkey leg.
And a big turkey.
You don't want to sit there with the bond.
You
Just
need
getting,
a plate.
I mean, here's a
Turkey
guy.
legs.
Here's a
there
guy
napkins?
that was one of the first men. First of all, we still talk about him to this day, which is amazing. Banged the most women ever, and yeah, a lot of it was rape, but you know what I mean.
I don't think any of it wasn't rape.
Yeah,
Like-
right. I think it was all 100%
100%
rape.
rape, yeah.
So he's the first
Yeah.
serial rapist. Setting the
That's-
tone for that.
You want that title?
Well, you want to talk about it. You want to break it down with the blunt.
Yeah.
Hey, if
definitely.
you're a 90% rapist and it's like, dude, you're a rapist, you're horrible. What if it's 100%? You still have to go, wow,
Yeah.
that's a lot of work.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You weren't.
Wow.
Yeah, you were a good rapist. You weren't Genghis Khan good.
At
We
least-
don't see eye to eye on this.
It was just
At
in
least
his
you
nature.
owned it. No.
You
But
know?
he also that's an interesting dude to me. Just how he was almost the first dude that was just like at one age like, dude, I want to dominate the world. Let's get going on this.
Yeah.
And he kind of rallied some guys, born leader, and also turned out a born rapist. But
God
you know,
bless.
it's
God bless.
he was a product of his environment, much like Vlad. So Genghis Khan.
Okay.
Incredibly convincing case you just made for that serial rapist.
I think we're all on the same page.
I
Let's
don't.
See. Let's see. Richie, who do you got?
Well, the only person that my guy killed was himself, accidentally. My number 5 is Chris Farley. Yeah.
Very
And
different.
here's the thing I know.
Which of
Yeah,
these
it's
things
pretty
is not
different.
like the other?
Look, we're doing things differently in my corner, right? This is the champion's corner. I've got a different way of looking at things. And for my number 5, I'm going to pick someone who I'm 100% not worried about them murdering me.
Pretty
As
sure
I
he drank
pass
blood.
to the left, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Genghis I could lose
Yeah.
my life with a bad eye.
Plus, I know Chris
Yeah.
Farley would smoke a blunt with me. Not with me, but he would smoke a blunt in general.
And then he'd ask where to get some coke,
Yeah.
and then he'd want to take it up a notch.
Well, look, the thing is that, maybe that happens. I don't know. I feel like that adds.
Yeah, I would do that.
It's like,
though.
whoa, Chris Farley wants to go out and maybe this is, maybe I just have a life-changing night with Chris Farley tonight.
I would be bummed if Chris Farley came back from the dead and then wanted to do coke with me, because I'd be like, "Didn't you learn your lesson?"
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Like,
Aren't you
That's what I was thinking. What if he died again right away? Like,
Yeah, why are you trying to
What you
enable
thinking?
Chris? Like you're enabling.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
I've
I'm,
seen
I'm
intervention.
enabling a guy who had a drug problem. You guys are enabling guys who had serial rape.
We're
and
trying to
murder.
calm
trying-
them down and
we're
get
trying to
down the course.
rehabilitate.
See,
We're
but-
trying, yeah, exactly.
We're trying to
I don't
rehabilitate,
need.
and that's
See, but here's the thing: we're smoking a blunt with these guys, and smoking weed with people isn't about changing lives. It's about getting down and having some good conversations.
Disagree.
Not
My
about
life
trying
has
to
been
change.
changed over
Yes.
once.
Not about
Yeah.
trying to change who a person is. That's pretty intense ordeal for the laid back kind of conversation you're trying
That's
to have
true.
with these people.
No, yeah.
Okay,
I don't
I
know.
getcha.
I just want to smoke a
Look,
blunt
that's
with
just
Genghis
mine.
Khan
You
and show
guys
him
can
South
decide
Park.
your things however you want to decide them. But my POV is context, and context is we're not trying to change the world or get to the bottom of anything. We're trying to kick it. We're trying to chill, trying to have a good time. I'm not saying I don't see the value in those guys, because there would be some very interesting conversations.
Oh sure.
That's why
I
it
would
was my
also be
number
worried.
5.
I would be worried
That's why
about
it was my
getting
number
murdered.
Yeah, that's my number 5.
Yeah,
You're
well,
enabling
okay, let me-
Chris Farley. So
let
he
me-
would die again after he
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's
me
all
cut
right.
in here.
It's not my fault.
Now, I have to decide between the three of you guys who makes the best argument here. And here's the thing: I really like your Vlad the Impaler recommendation, man. That's really cool. And your Genghis Khan one was great too. But for both of the, there's not one suggestion on here because of a person that I would smoke with that wouldn't bum me out. Because on some level, even Chris Farley would bum me out.
They're all dead.
Because
They're all dead.
That's kind of yeah.
They're all dead
All
for
of
some
them are
reason.
doesn't
gonna
mean that
bum
they
you out a
wouldn't
little
bum me
bit.
out.
Dude,
So-
Genghis was a work hard, play hard guy. he was definitely a work hard, play hard guy. So I don't know.
I think you know what you want to say. I think you know.
I got to go ahead and say, because I'm such a comedy nerd and SNL nerd, I mostly what I look for when I smoke weed with somebody is stories. And if your stories are, I impaled a bunch of dudes, or I cut a bunch of dudes' heads off and raped a bunch of
In the
chi-
interest of
Russian
world
chicks.
domination, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That would really kind of
heavy
bother
shit.
me.
Yeah.
I got to go with Farley on this, and the big part of why I'm going with Farley is because I have an answer to that.
Sure.
that this is the ultimate matchup right here.
Okay.
This is Ali Frazier. This is fucking. This is it. John Belushi. Who would you rather?
Again,
Yeah.
enabling.
If you're gonna pick Farley, I'm gonna pick Belushi.
Okay, well here's why I picked Farley is because I grew up with Chris Farley. I didn't grow up with John Belushi, so like obviously John Belushi is so high up, right? He's a king. He's a king of what he did, but I have the connection to Farley because I was a big kid growing up with a big man on the screen to show me how to do things. Right? He touched my heart.
If there was no John Belushi, there would have been no Chris Farley.
I'm not arguing that at all.
What do you guys think? Settle this debate.
I think that it's clear in my mind that if this was an argument about people still alive, number one would be Jim Belushi. That's assumed. So it's interesting that you brought up his brother John.
You can't think about John without Jim without thinking about John.
I definitely appreciate the Belushi aspect because without him, you don't get to Farley. Farley was completely influenced by him, and Farley probably tried to kill himself at that point because of Belushi's way out.
Age.
Yeah, and
no beef with that at all.
And it was interesting. You said it was an accidental thing. I think Farley had some demons. He was probably.
Yeah.
I mean, he
Sure.
accidentally
Depends
did
on
it.
your
But
definition of an accident.
Yeah.
But I see what
I'll
you're
believe
saying.
what
I go.
choose, too.
I side with
I'll believe
Belushi
what I
mainly
choose.
because the era in which his comedy was defined was a much more impactful era, and Belushi was ahead of his time. And the stuff that they did with SNL, they started SNL, so I think that's the better stories.
Jules.
Yeah, I'd have to run with Belushi as well. I had a big Belushi black and white poster. You know,
college one?
Yeah, and then I also did the custard zit, you know, to my mom at least once a year from
sure.
like 5 to 8. You know.
Plus, he did Little Chocolate Donuts, which is probably the greatest SNL skit.
Cool, the host wins.
And I'm
Cool,
a little
great.
older,
Could've
so
probably
that was
gotten
more
in your
my
corner, but
Whatever.
Yeah.
it's
my
fine.
era. So
It's okay.
So we're all
that's a good
technically
counter.
on
though.
agreement.
It's
Look,
a
I
good
can't-
counter argument.
I can't argue
anything with
that.
the Little Chocolate Donuts, the
See-
cigarette and the jumping over the hurdles and everything. Great sketch. Look it up if you haven't seen it on YouTube.
I could have said
Belushi.
Belushi, but I'd be lying because I don't have the connection to Belushi.
Well,
to
I'm
make
going to say
that argument.
Belushi, and I'm not lying.
That's
Number
fine. No,
5,
yeah. Hey, do whatever
John
you want.
Belushi.
all right.
I smoke 2 joints in the morning. I smoke 2 joints at night. I smoke 2 joints in the afternoon. It makes me feel
All right. Number 4, Jules.
All right, for my number 4 pick, I chose J.R.R. Tolkien.
Wow.
Yeah, I chose him because I would love to get super baked with him and play some D&D. I think that he would just kick ass at that, and
That's
it would be
just
this
one of those-
humongous badass story, and you just sit there and smoke out of a Gandalf pipe and eat Hobbit food or some shit, and hopefully in his little cove, you know?
So you think he's a product of
Wait,
the
so
fictional
you-
stories that
I feel...
that he wrote? You
Fucking
think he
the
lives the life?
biography, the autobiography of
I feel like if he was baked, he would definitely let that out. You know what I'm saying?
He would play it up a little bit.
Yeah. I think
He would play
that,
it up a little.
like,
Especially when
with
he
a
sees
brain
the
that
fan.
You know
made that up,
J.R.R.
you
That's
know?
classic Tolkien.
Yeah.
Pussy is insane.
And then he could
It
say,
is.
I was
Oh my
Tolkien
God.
with Tolkien.
I was Tolkien with Tolkien.
Yeah.
Love
Yeah.
big ass feet, girl.
I like that.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, it was and I haven't played D&D in like 20 years.
I never
so.
read the books.
D&D.
That's the
Lord of
Dungeons
Rings.
and
Dungeons and
Dragons,
Dragons,
yeah.
and you're also assuming that he'd be into that.
I think that. Yeah, I think he would totally be into that, big time. I think that he would be sad that he didn't get to experience it in his life.
I think so.
You know,
Well,
like,
he's like, this is the map that I put in the second book.
yeah, exactly.
Fucking
This
treasure
is
map.
fucking
Jules, get my
copyright
lawyer on the
infringement.
phone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is ridiculous. I got no money for
He
this.
comes back and Jules is like, wow, J.R.R. Tolkien, you want to smoke weed with me and play Dungeons and Dragons? He's like, no.
That sounds awful.
I'll
sounds
smoke weed with you, but I don't
terrible.
want to play Dungeons and Dragons. Fuck
right.
that shit.
Okay.
Mike, number 4. I like
So number 4,
I like
I'm
it.
gonna go with. I'm a history buff, and I like diving into stuff, and I think that this guy would be an interesting dude to. Well, I guess it's a poorly worded thing to say, pick his brain, but I'm going with Kennedy. John F. And I think that Kennedy was a awesome fucking president. If you go back and just kind of look at him, he was a cool dude, and I think that he was
It's not just because he got killed early, you guys. That's not why we say
But
that.
and I
You
think
can't
really
keep
was
a
the
Boston
president.
accent.
I mean, he was all. There's so much history in that era where he was in a very defining time of American history in the '60s, and I would love to fucking smoke a blunt with him and dive into some of the pussy he got.
Oh,
On the
Russian
side,
sex
yeah.
That's what I was
Russians
thinking
are
the same
goodness.
thing.
I'm talking about, and then
Yeah.
we're talking crazy pussy.
Oh, yeah.
And like different era pussy, but I think it's all pink in the middle. And then
This was softer, I feel like.
I'd
Amen.
obviously accompany the blunt with a Manhattan. He might be an old-fashioned guy. I don't know, but either way, we're drinking whiskey.
A Rob Roy.
And I don't know.
Shirley Temples, please.
Kennedy would be cool, and then also I feel like he had to have had a hunch of people trying to kill him. There's some shady shit behind the death of Kennedy, obviously. So I want to dive into some
I think he had
conspiracy
no
shit.
idea.
He's got some.
You don't think he had
sweet
any idea?
secrets. I mean, he has some
well,
dope
maybe-
secrets, man. Aliens.
Yeah,
Personally,
I'm telling you.
Real
I wanna
quick,
know
because
all
this
of
can
it.
make us go all the way off topic and burn up a lot of time. But real quick, everybody just say who they think killed Kennedy, even if it's Lee Harvey Oswald. Okay. Personally, I think it was Lyndon Johnson using the CIA.
Illuminati.
That's deep. I think that I
Illuminati.
do think it was Lee Harvey Oswald. I do not think that
He was
he
the
was
only
acted alone, and I think that there was a much bigger thing going on. I definitely think that the government potentially was attached to the death of John F. Kennedy. I'm saying it.
Shut it down. Shut it down.
Shut it down.
I think definitely the same people that let like Pearl Harbor happen and September 11th. I think like it's the same
That's
guys.
deep.
Illuminati.
You know what
That
I'm
just
saying?
got deep.
Illuminati.
Yes.
I don't know.
You're not
Talking
wrong.
about the
The
Illuminati.
Trilateral Commission or whatever.
The lizard
I don't know.
people.
Those guys.
So
people.
2 for
Those
Illuminati.
dudes.
I got a
Reptilians.
point.
You know,
Cool.
and fun fact, Nixon just came out with a documentary, or he didn't come out with it, but there was a documentary of Nixon in his own words. And
Yes,
the way
it was
that
on HBO, it was
Nixon
so good.
callously spoke about how he could have Ted Kennedy killed
Yeah.
lets me know that the
He
government...
said something, just like her fucking brother.
Yeah, like he said in this fucking thing, like, it was in his own words, the way that he talked about the ability that he could have had Ted Kennedy at that point killed.
Yeah.
Just lets me know there's some fucked up shit going on.
I have to
Connect
get
the
away
dots.
from you right now because all that shit is. I'm so into that.
I am
We-
too.
We would go on and on.
And
Yeah.
so that's why I
gotta
want to go to the core
Politics,
story.
man. Ooh.
Kennedy. I want
Yes.
to talk to Kennedy. I don't know if he's the right guy to talk to, but I.
J.R.R. Tolkien,
Kennedy.
J.R.R., JFK,
Mm-hmm.
Richie,
He better have 3 good letters in his name.
So hard one for me.
Triple H from World Wrestling Entertainment.
Game, aka Triple H.
Game. You know,
HBK, Shawn Michaels.
I've been thinking about mine,
actually.
and I'm gonna have to go with Theodore
Roosevelt.
Teddy.
Teddy.
Oh,
Good one.
these are all. I
Not
like
a bad one.
Why
Yeah,
Teddy and
JR.
not
Yeah,
Franklin?
JR.
I don't
Glasses,
know, man.
man.
I just
Yeah,
remember
glasses.
when
That's a
I
great
was,
question,
I
'cause he
was
better
a
have a
big.
good answer
I
for
studied
that.
history. I was a big history. I got really into history in high school. I remember when we got to Theodore Roosevelt, just being
And
captivated.
you say Roosevelt.
You do say Roosevelt. I heard that.
Yeah.
That's how it's supposed to be, right?
Yeah.
That there's a debate. I mean, it makes sense to me. I've always said Roosevelt,
So
but when
Roosevelt.
I never thought twice about it.
I've
Longo,
recently.
we gonna get into this talk right now?
Is it a Rue?
We are
I'm not
burning up way
hassling
too
you.
much time, and we're still on number 4. All right, so
Yeah, so I'm just
sorry.
saying, TR, he was just a bad dude. I think you got to have a president.
Michael Jackson bad.
Real bad.
Yeah.
This is bad, real bad, Michael. You got to have a president on this list. And I would probably want to go back a little bit. I'm very interested in this time period. I'm very interested in this isn't really interesting shit for
You
this
want to hear
podcast.
some stories
Teddy-
about
Teddy's-
the Panama
Dude,
Canal?
I just want to, I want to
Yeah,
hear,
he's early 1900s.
like, this is one of the
Right.
last dudes who really, like, got fucking dirty, rolled his sleeves up, and was, like, a real man in office before you had to have the Secret Service following you around like you're an egg that could get dropped at any time. It's just a bad dude as a president, which
A
is
Rough
the
Rider.
scariest. A Rough Rider.
He was a Rough Rider before
yeah,
DMX.
you know, like
Rider.
he
Also-
he again, you know, not a purely good man, but who is, right? We all have our
flawed
demons.
man.
But you know, a presidents
as
are going to
Kennedy.
come out when you're the most powerful person in the fucking world.
No disrespect to you and your pick, Jules, but that argument could have been interchanged with Michael's recommendation of JFK
Amen
in
to
a
that.
lot of ways. And I mean, to be a roll up your sleeves, down and dirty president in the '60s
Yeah.
is way different than in the early 1900s, even though it was probably rougher back then. But in the long run, JFK being more of a roll up your sleeves kind of dude, to some extent, not literally roll up his sleeves, but he was going to change some shit and do things. He was so badass that they had to fucking kill him.
Yeah, he had to be killed.
So
He
I
did.
gotta go. I think Mike, you got
JFK. There we go.
JF Kizzle.
JFK.
Yeah.
I like it.
JFK.
Furezo.
Now who do I have
I
that
shouldn't
could
say that. I'm sorry.
that could line up with JFK? That could let's see here.
Put it on him.
Who you want
Put it on him,
to
pal.
pick their brain?
Put it on him. Give it to him.
Billy the Kid.
Wow.
Billy the
Okay.
Kid versus
Different.
JFK. It's an age-old question. We've always been asking ourselves.
Pondered on many a shits.
Yeah. Billy the Kid to me is really cool because there's a lot of bullshit about his like myth and everything like that. Really, he was just kind of a white trash kid from New Mexico, which there's still people like that. Dad walked out on him. Mom was a single mom, and fucking he just started stealing laundry one day. Like that's how he fucking made his money as a kid, and then one day he accidentally killed somebody. He got into a bar fight as a teenager and kind of accidentally just killed him, and then
Oops a doodly.
Yep.
Oh,
The newspapers
I
made it
liked
out.
it.
Yeah.
and then he skipped town. The newspapers made it out to be homicidal young boy on the loose. So like every time he would do something, it was always kind of an accident, and it wasn't really. It was just a victim of circumstances thing, and it got worse and worse every time. And then the newspapers would report on it and then call him Billy the Kid, and he's going around just killing people, and he's crazy. And
It's like Mr.
he did.
Bean,
It
but
wasn't
not,
really like
you
that,
know,
but
funny.
Yeah,
but then he got in.
intentionally just in bad spots all the time. He just ended up killing them.
But then he gets
exactly.
into it and becomes like the first rock star ever. And women are all like, "Oh shit, you're Billy the Kid!" Like he's at bars and shit. Fucked a lot of Mexican women. A lot of
him.
Mexican women.
Spicy.
He probably woke
And
up with
very
the
nice.
burn a couple times too.
And he also had
Leo.
very skinny wrists, so he'd be able to go through handcuffs when he was handcuffed. So
Oh, I thought you were gonna say so he fisted them.
Yeah,
So he
exactly.
just-
That's where I
he
thought that was
fisted a lot
going
of
too.
women.
a lot
A
of
lot of
Mexican-
Mexicans got
Mexican
fisted by
Nice,
Billy the
Billy.
Kid.
Nice.
So it's just the
You
fact that he has skinny
William.
wrists and you really like Mexican chicks, just like I do. That's really like I've always felt very close to Billy the Kid. You know.
I mean, that is actually very interesting because that's another era. That's what the 1860s,
It was
late
right
1800s.
after the Civil War, I think.
Yeah, and when shit was going wild out west. I mean, I think the JFK argument is to the era in which he was the most powerful person, was so influential to not only where we are now, but then the next 40 years after that. JFK was, and the fact that 50 years later, he's still somebody that is in conversation. And he never left our conversation,
Never
I guess.
will.
And he never will. And we'll always have
Billy
these.
the Kid might. JFK won't.
And JFK is just a really interesting dude. And but you know, Billy the Kid, that's a curveball I didn't see. Teddy Roosevelt, you should have probably brought up the fact that he also was the first dude to step foot into Yosemite and be like, yeah, this is a national park. Nobody's fucking stepping foot here. He was the national park advocate, which was the coolest thing about him. That's why you lost your argument. Just
Sure.
know that.
Okay.
Just know that.
I think that's for him
JFK.
to decide. But
Number 4
JFK.
is JFK.
Boom! That's what I'm talking about.
Still messed up, and I know why. Why, man? Yeah, cause I got high. Because I got high. Because I got high. La da da.
Number 3, Jules.
My number 3 is Frank Sinatra.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, like, he was the original Jay-Z. Like, and, I mean, it's Frankie, it's Blue Eyes, it's,
Frankie Blue Eye.
you know, the CEO. Like,
He did say that.
Plus, he was like a humongous hero of mine. Like, to make that way from being this, like, poor kid from Hoboken, you know, and I've always wanted to be from Jersey because I'm here from Arizona. And
I was
Arizona's
born there, you know.
See?
Yeah.
See, so you're like already massively cool in my eyes just from that. Like I've always New Jersey, wow, East Coast or something. I don't know, metropolitan.
Do you want me to start telling people that you're a poor kid from Hoboken?
Yeah, I do.
Sure.
I do.
I
New
can accept
intro.
that.
I became honest at one point in my life and was like, okay, I'm just a poor kid from Tempe.
So glad
You know,
So glad you've changed.
Tempe, Jersey.
but I don't know. He could croon or something. I don't know.
yeah, he wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't like I don't know. I never thought of him as like a great singer, but he definitely owned his whole style and everything like that. I have a real quick,
right in a helicopter.
real
with him
quick
or
because I don't
something.
want to take up too much time. But my dad was actually friends with one of the guys in the Four Seasons, the guitar player. And you know, Four Seasons, they did like "Walk Like a Man,"
Yeah.
like the Jersey Boys, basically.
Right.
And he told my dad a story that my dad told me where when the band first got famous, they were at a club in Jersey, and the Four Seasons, they all got together and bought a house together down the street, kind of. And then Sinatra came into the club and he sat down with them. It was right when they just broke, and they were all freaking out. Oh my God! And they were like, Frank goes, so I understand you boys just bought a house around here, and they're like, yeah. And he's all great. On Sunday, I'll come over. I'll bring the kids. We'll all go swimming. And he was like, they go, yeah, okay. He leaves, and they all go, we don't have a pool. And they start freaking out, and they start like they're calling up pool companies, and they're like, can you get a pool done by Monday? And it was like Saturday, and they were like, no.
Yeah.
And then finally, they called one of their cousins, some mob guy. Yeah, I could do that. Yeah, of course. And then like they fucking built like the shittiest pool by Sunday. And then Frank Sinatra shows up with his kids. Oh, the pool looks great. Hops in. So that's how much of a presence he had, that he would influence you to build a pool in 2 days.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
That's like people moved for him, moved mountains all the time for his day to be
They
his day.
could have just said, oh, sorry, Frank, we can't go swimming.
And-
we don't have a pool.
And the women that he could bring,
He could do no
man,
wrong.
That'd be ridiculous. It'd be.
I will
beautiful.
say that I kind of wish he would have retired early, because he was in the 90s. If you ever saw videos of him not remembering his music and all that, that's kind of just like, dude.
You don't want to remember him like
That guy really tainted his whole image. But overall, good one. Mike.
I'm going to go with another guy that I just find interesting, and I want to smoke a blunt with him. Let's go with Malcolm X.
Oh,
Malcolm X is somebody to me that
the first brother on this
is
that was brought
just
up.
an
I
interesting
don't know
dude
what the
in
deal
the whole, obviously the racial tensions and what they were trying to do. He was in the same vein as the influence of Martin Luther King, but definitely a different approach. A lot of people go to prison. How
He was a
many
little
come
more
out
real.
Malcolm X?
Yeah, he was a little more real, I always felt.
Yeah, very interesting gentleman. Went through some hard times, and he came out. I don't know. I just love the fact that he had his horrible life, went to prison, and came out and made such a large impact. At least tried to. He did it in a different way. I like that he did it in a different way.
Charismatic.
He was militant, much more militant, and used more force in his ways to say, you got to start fucking treating black people okay. So Malcolm X, interesting dude to me.
I would say Malcolm X is Martin Luther King without the PR agent. Like that's
Right.
kind of
Yeah,
that's a good way to describe
He's
it.
just a no Vaseline approach.
Yeah. No Vaseline at
Lord.
all whatsoever.
Yeah.
Ice
Good
Cube and
Lord.
Malcolm X, very no Vaseline in their approach.
Exactly.
Yeah. Richie.
This is a hard one for me, and it's going to be tough for me to make a case on this one. But my number 3 is Steve Irwin.
Wow.
Crocodile hunter?
Yeah, fucking crocodile hunter. Because number 1, what a crazy motherfucker, right?
You want to get a stingray shaped bong?
Dude, I'm
for
just
that
telling
too?
you, stories out the ass. Number 1, number 2,
Stories
just
out
what
the
a
ass.
good fucking person, right? What a good fucking guy. What an awesome person it would be to talk to this guy and just see. This is where you're getting into the part where like Malcolm X and who'd you say, Jules?
I said Frank Sinatra.
Right. So when you get into these, like, so we're gonna start getting into like some great minds and like some people who genuinely just thought differently and did things differently. And this is where you're just gonna get into like, you could make this argument for any of these guys, but you're just gonna have such a good interaction with this person. He is someone who lives his life differently than anybody, whose priorities are different than anybody's were, and you know, there's not a lot of people in the world who like leave the kind of mark that he did doing what he did.
It's
you know?
just bothering animals. Animals.
That's fine. If you want to look at it that way, that's fine. But you know, he was
fun to watch. He was a big
both
big
of these
part of
guys
the 90s.
left their marks on people too. But
One just
think,
did
like,
it through cheesy Animal Planet.
dude, but he
shows.
would say
Crikey, look at
he would
that.
say some, he would say some sweet shit, like tell some sweet stories with his
That time when he had his
Australian
baby
accent.
when he was fucking with that crocodile. Remember that?
I'm
He was a
pretty
little
sure-
reckless.
That's
I
fine.
like that they all.
That's whatever.
No, man, I'm not
I
trying
told
to
you,
jump
like,
on you.
here's the thing, is I know that that's not going to hold up to fucking Malcolm X
Well,
or
both
Frank
Malcolm
Sinatra.
X
Well, you
and
try-
but-
Malcolm X and Steve Irwin both died doing what they love. At least Malcolm X got shot on speaking.
All right.
Steve Irwin got
Here's my
stabbed.
thing. This is the best way that I could rationalize my decision here.
Affirmative action.
Affirmative action. No. Well,
Then I'm out.
what I want when I smoke with somebody is stories. Steve Irwin, God bless him, would just tell a lot of stories about animals, and I would just be like, okay, great. Like,
Oh yeah, I'm sure his stories about being out in the jungle for days and running into like lions.
he had his crew with him and stuff.
Jungle lions, you know.
Yeah, that's not cool.
I just could
Yeah,
care
that
less.
sounds terrible.
I would love those stories.
I
That's
really,
okay. I don't
really.
need you to like my choice.
Okay.
You kind of do.
I know.
I mean, you're the champion. You've already
Just trying to
proven
feel
yourself
good.
to me. It's cool. Don't worry about it, man. You might
like
come
the
back.
heat right now.
Malcolm X is really good, just because I genuinely find his whole story very fascinating. However, I feel that if we did smoke weed together, he wouldn't be talking so much about himself as he would be talking more about the problems he sees. And I feel like he would be a little hostile towards me.
I'll tell you right now,
something I didn't
he'd be
do.
paranoid with a gun out the window. That's what he would be.
Also,
Yeah.
I bet
He'd be
It
paranoid
might be a
as
little
shit.
rough smoking with
I
him.
bet he would camp a lot and like almost never pass it.
Yeah.
Bogart it?
Yeah.
And if you said
For-
something, he would be so...
What?
fuck-
I mean, no, you're good. Okay.
I will hold this as
What if
long
it
as I
was
need to.
Zen-
you
Sorry,
white devil.
Mr. X.
So I got to say Frank Sinatra.
All right, I like
Now,
that.
I'm a loser.
Frank Sinatra, would he be more of a fun person to smoke with than Freddie Mercury?
Oh.
Yeah.
Curveball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I saw that. I was really picking it. Like it came down to a couple guys, and then I saw that name, and I was like, "Oh shit, it has to be this."
Yeah.
Freddie Mercury.
Smoking with Freddie, I might need individual blunts.
Yeah. You never know if he's got a cut.
Oh,
on
in,
his lip.
in, in,
The
this, in
Ebola.
this hypothetical
The
dream world, AIDS is not a thing.
Oh, this is a sweet world.
Oh, pre-AIDS. Pre-AIDS Freddie Mercury.
We got him on the
Pre-AIDS.
AZT cocktail, and he's doing
No
okay.
condoms anymore. No condoms.
I would
I like
still,
how it's the assumption is
Can
also
you make a
that
rap song? That's literally
No
just like
condoms anymore. No condoms.
the videos
I like-
just saw AIDS
I like how
cure for AIDS.
the assumption is also that Frank Sinatra doesn't have herpes on his lip too.
He sure
I'm sure
does.
he does.
Definitely
I'm
does.
sure he does.
definitely. I just think Frank Sinatra's gonna bring ladies, whereas Freddie Mercury's gonna bring dudes.
Dude,
That-
you don't
that's
think,
not a bad
you don't
thing.
think
I
Freddie
don't
Mercury
mind
could
that
show up with
at
a
all.
grip of girlies?
Gay
on
guys
his
have the
hip,
best
you know what I
stories,
mean?
and they love to dish and everything. Or I had a friend, so I like that.
Pal saying true things.
I had a friend who went up north to a hotel, and he got this really nice suite. It was him and his wife, and they said, "Oh, we had a lot of celebrities stay here. Freddie Mercury stayed here once." And then it's like, that's really cool, but what that really means is 2 guys fucked in here once. Like, that's so it's like, okay, cool. But anyway,
Freddie Mercury, Frank Sinatra.
they're 6 in one, half a dozen in the other. In my eyes, they're neck and neck. However, it would be so fun for me personally to smoke weed with an old Italian man because it would remind me of my grandpa. And I like the way he spoke, like, "Hey, knock it off, ring a ding ding," and this,
Yeah.
like all those kind
Those are
of.
those mannerisms you could pick up
Those
by
little
the end of the
quaint.
hour.
Yeah.
How quaint, Franklin.
You're no
Cool
good
saying,
to
your
it.
old timey sayings.
And he might bring Don Rickles.
He might. Oh, if
that-
he did, I would die.
Exactly.
To
Yeah.
the world.
And Billy Crystal could do the like freaking
And then
impersonations of them
JFK
both.
would still be there from the previous.
And so,
number
yeah,
4.
Kennedy's there.
Yeah.
3 birds, 1
That's
stone.
fun.
John, what are you doing here? Frank
It-
Sinatra, number 3.
It was written.
Yeah, it has been written.
all night long as I take hits from the bomb.
Jules, number 2.
My number 2 is the original host of the Cosmos, Mr. Carl Sagan.
Yes. Yeah.
Billions of blunts could be smoked with Carl Sagan.
So you're gonna do this the whole time? Then?
Yeah. I just
for
think
sure.
that you to sit there and wax poetic over a blunt about like the universe with Carl Sagan. Like,
Is there anyone who
That'd
could
be
blow
heavy.
your
I couldn't
mind
listen.
more?
I couldn't
heavy.
listen to the guy in the wheelchair. I'm having a total brain.
Stephen Hawking.
Stephen Hawking. I just couldn't listen to that for the whole hour or watch him smoke. But Carl Sagan.
Blow it in my mouth.
I could listen to that voice all day, especially like when it goes slower when he's
shotgun this.
when he's high.
Do you
would it
have
be
any
even slower.
edibles?
Yeah, exactly. So
Carl Sagan.
Carl Sagan, and we can go on a space ride together after we get all
I
spaced
like
out.
that, Carl
I'm a
Sagan.
big fan of that choice.
That's a strong
You're
choice.
What?
Did you say not?
said I am a
Oh,
big
you
fan
are?
of that
Yeah,
choice,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah. He also had he was a great advocate for redefining how we see organized religion.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
Very much so.
And he had that really cool quote. The humankind is an organism that is in conflict with itself, and an organism in conflict with itself cannot continue. I'm paraphrasing. Look it up. It's a cool quote. I once
He's
saw
got a
it.
lot
Smart
of
man.
he's got a lot
He's
of
a
deep
smart
shit
man.
where you're like
Yeah.
accurate and confusing,
Yes.
but at the same time,
Keeps
like
you guessing.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's good stuff though.
Definitely like to talk about that. Hi.
Mike.
I'm gonna go with you brought up a good philosopher. I'm gonna bring up another philosopher in his own time, Big L. Big L.
L. Ron Hubbard?
No, Big L actually. The hip hop artist.
Oh.
I'm a large
on.
supporter of hip hop, as Richie and myself often discuss. And I'm a big fan of a good lyricist. Big L was killed when he was like, I think he was 24, 25, and he would have been. I always like to say that if Big L never died, Lil Wayne wouldn't be a person.
I
But
like that.
he, it would have been. It would have changed the
been
course
alright.
of history. He would have been just as big as Pac and Biggie. He was lyrically. He only put out
year
one.
Did he die?
He died
I
in
know nothing about this.
97, maybe 98. It was right around the same time that Tupac and Biggie died in New York. His brother got caught up with some gang-affiliated shit, and they couldn't kill his brother, so they just killed him. And it was, whatever, it happens. But one of the best lyricists ever. He only put out one project, and it stands the test of time. Big L, Ebonics. You should dive into that track. Put him on, Big L. Put him on. What is the other one?
94 freestyle.
The 90. Yeah.
Is it 93 or 94?
No, it's a 97 freestyle.
Is
and
it?
it's one of the greatest freestyles in the history
It's
of hip hop.
great.
He says, "Ask Beavis, I get nothing but head."
That's a good line.
You was never shit. Your mother should have swallowed you. Things that Big L said. But either way, I love Big L. I love hip hop. I thought Big L would be a cool dude to smoke a blunt with.
Kind of tired.
Kind of
Kinda
tired.
tired.
Okay.
I like that. I
You
like
made a
both
good
of
choice.
those.
You made a good case for somebody that I didn't really know. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Big L's the man.
slept on of the dead era. of hip hop.
Incredibly.
Yeah.
My number 2
2.
is gonna be. Gosh, this is a tough one for me. I guess fucking Bruce Lee.
Oh,
Dude, Bruce Lee. You want to talk about a guy?
How
Do
did I
you have
not
him?
think of
You
that
don't have
already?
him?
No.
Yeah, you want to talk about a guy with some fucking wisdom to impart. You want to talk about a guy who thought differently. Like you watch all those interviews with Bruce Lee, and there's just like certain people who have like an energy about them, or like I don't know, they're just enjoyable to be around, and you're fucking just to be in the presence of someone who did.
Yeah.
I mean, he fucking like he created his own game, and then it went out with him. Like,
I'm
there's
sorry.
No
A very
equal to
intelligent
fucking Bruce
brander
Lee.
as well, just a genius beyond like
and also
that time.
and
like
also,
people didn't see what he even did.
like
He was
his
so smart.
and not even
Like
to
broke
consider like the
racial
physical,
barriers,
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff.
like the shit this guy could do physically, and the mental strength that requires.
Right.
He has thoughts and,
Richie,
and
let
opinions
me
on
stop
things
you
that
right there.
I couldn't even begin.
Yeah, let
to-
me stop you right there and say you won. I'm sorry, guys.
The
but
game of life.
Well, I mean that is it. It is Bruce Lee. I am really surprised I didn't think of Bruce Lee.
I
myself.
did not think of Bruce Lee.
I did.
I do remember there was a myth going around for a while that he died because he was the only person to ever overdose from weed. He was allergic to weed or something.
That was one of the
really?
theories.
Yeah, that was
One of the theories. It
theories,
blew up
and
his heart because his heart was so healthy. His
Yeah.
body was so healthy it couldn't take the toxins.
Also,
But it turned out to be bullshit later. I think.
conspiracy
Yeah.
deaths though, right? And then his son died
say
as
that
well.
there was a
like,
curse on him.
isn't there weird shit?
Yeah,
with
yeah.
that?
There's a
Yeah.
curse on the family.
But
All
still,
the males
if
got
you're
to
gonna
run
kill
away
somebody,
from
you're not gonna do like a gun jamming and shit like that. Like that looks like an accident, really. Like I don't see why you would. If you want to,
That's what they want.
That's how they
to believe.
work, man. That's how they
yeah.
work.
Did
you watch that
this
Bruce
guy,
Lee
he's
documentary?
just-
He needs
Get
so
the
gullible,
wool out
man.
of your
Yeah. Sheep over the
Who
papers,
did? I
man.
can't remember who. Fist of
fucking
Fury.
wake up, man.
Fist of Fury.
Fist of Fury?
There was a documentary.
Yeah.
I think it might have been called Fist of Fury.
Oh, really?
It's
Bro,
called Lists of
I
Fury.
know it's called List of Fury. I'm
my
referring
show.
to the Bruce Lee.
Oh, you're talking about someone else's
Documentary.
work. Not
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I'm not talking shit right now.
As he blushes.
No,
That's
I-
my
But
show.
dude, he was like the like other powerful and
It's not
and
called Fist of
wise
Fury, but I know
people.
what you're talking about. Yes.
Came to this guy to learn from him.
To me, when I was
A young warthog?
yes, when I was a kid, I got
When I was a young warthog.
when I was a kid, I got his book, The Tao of Jeet Kune Do.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I,
I read
I was
that.
just like, yeah, this is gonna teach me how to fucking hit people. You know, that's all I thought. And then the first half of it is all his philosophy and all his quotes and everything like that. And you realize he's just like somebody like Alan Watts
Yeah.
or Socrates and shit. Like
He actually took a lot of sayings from Alan Watts and different
He was
like
into
Buddhist
that,
sayings,
yes.
and then he would switch like 2 words and say Bruce Lee. You know, said by Bruce Lee.
and then he was
Like a finger pointing to the moon.
That checks out.
yeah.
Yeah.
And like he was so into the whole idea that Chinese people shouldn't have to just be drivers and dishwashers in like movies and stuff. He was always like, we need to like. He really stuck up not just for Chinese people but for immigrants in general. Like
he worked
you can
his
be
ass off
American
to get
too.
where he
You
wanted
know,
to.
worked his ass off.
Worked his
Most
fucking
dedicated
ass
person
off.
I've ever fucking read about in my life. So it's Bruce Lee.
He
But
was
I
just
don't
a
know.
dude taking his lumps for a long time. Like
Did you even
fucking
have an argument
anybody
against
else,
it?
man.
No.
I don't really have an argument, so I'm going to burn one that I didn't think. After we talked about JFK, I was like, well, I'll never get to use this guy. But here's something for fun. Is he more of a guy you'd want to smoke with than, let's say, Macho Man Randy Savage?
Yeah. Another. I had
Look at the
the,
stories.
Good stories, too.
and that voice. dude.
WrestleMania 3, yeah, me and Hogan.
Yeah.
Smoking a blunt there.
Do you think he's always on? He's always on.
He was
Kerry?
like, I've seen
Yeah.
videos of him from
As a
like
human
backstage. Like he talked like that.
That's
like,
hilarious.
Full time.
Yeah.
That's
That,
so
that was
funny.
who he was.
That would be interesting.
Elizabeth. Yeah.
That's funny.
Just talk to me, daddy.
There would be, there's a whole list of actually wrestlers that would be really captivating to because I don't know about you guys. I was a big
Yep.
WWF,
Loved
WWE
wrestling.
fan.
We're gonna
Like
do best
Owen
pro
Wil-
wrestlers on one of these episodes.
Oh yeah,
that
that's
would be
great.
awesome.
Because Owen Wilson, or not shit, Owen Wilson. Owen Hart would have been
Yeah, man,
cool.
The
Owen
Ultimate
Wilson.
Owen Wilson.
Yeah, exactly.
Ultimate Warrior, man.
Ultimate Warrior.
Ultimate Warrior was
Warrior.
my. I had the. Oh
Benoit.
man.
Benoit
Yeah.
definitely needed a blunt. Chris Benoit, but
Needed to chill.
Who was the rich guy?
Road Warrior Hawk.
I remember him. He's dead.
The Road Warriors.
He's
yeah,
dead, he's
he's the
dead.
one that's dead. He was the one that talked, like the taller one.
There's a lot. Actually,
Bushwhack
I'll tell you a good one.
Bushwhackers,
A
yeah.
technically sound wrestler that never got the respect. Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah.
He's a great
yeah.
fucking wrestler.
Well, this does nothing.
Rey
to
Mysterio.
Either way,
Okay, so as much as it would be so fun to smoke weed with Macho Man Randy
Yeah.
Savage, Bruce Lee definitely beats out Macho Man.
Yeah.
Sorry.
right.
Be a
Number
great
2,
name.
Bruce Lee.
See, hope you're ready for the next episode. Hey, smoke weed every day.
Now, before we get into number 1, I just want to say one thing. We are all tied at 1 apiece.
Oh,
So whoever gets this, they're probably going to be champion.
Forever.
That's good
They'll
math.
be here next
Life
week.
champion.
It's good math.
Nice.
Well, I
Can't
mean,
wait to repeat, guys.
but,
Thanks for having me.
but if it's me, I got to choose somebody just.
We'll see.
Willy nilly.
Yeah.
Willy
I
nilly.
think I got
Gotta
a
make
good
judgment
one.
call.
You could.
All right, mine.
Okay.
I would like to smoke a blunt with the Buddha. Smoking Buddha with Buddha has to happen. First off,
Yep.
A bit redundant.
and second off, like this guy, like just the philosophies he spilled out to like the small handful of people that were alive at that time, like is still you still hear his shit today, like you know.
He
Big
seemed
time.
like he was a
There's
pretty
still
life
millions of
mistake.
people following what he said.
That's
honestly
way, that's
a
way
bit
before
ar-
Jesus, right?
He came off as
Yeah.
arrogant.
way before Jesus.
yeah,
Buddha
yeah, it was
came
like
off
500
as
years
arrogant.
before Jesus.
It is just
Buddha's
Yeah.
kind of a prick.
I heard Buddha was kind
I
of
don't
a
know. I
prick.
think like
Talks a lot of
he's
game.
chock full of like I don't know. He didn't eat for like 40 some days or something like that
Wasn't
underneath
he
the
huge?
Bodhi tree.
Didn't show.
Yeah, yeah,
not
you
sure.
know.
Bro, Buddha's got control of
That-
those urges.
Okay.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, say okay.
I like
Oh,
it.
well.
That's interesting.
So literally, this is somebody who's near and dear to your heart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Literally and figuratively.
Yeah. And well, his
Yes.
name's Buddha. And why did we name it Buddha? Because that's what we want to attain, is that kind of high enlightenment feeling.
Enlightenment.
You don't
that
think
he's
that
got.
he
I
would
think it
be
was
like-
a play on the word bud, but yeah.
Oh,
Maybe.
really?
No, I don't know. I actually don't know.
But you don't think he would be like, why do you desire to smoke this plant? And he would like.
Well, we're doing under the theoretical
Yeah, that he
that,
would-
Trying to
he
get
would just be
silly,
like down to
baby.
smoke with it.
Questions
Because I
asked
thought
for
of
it,
that too,
yeah.
and that's why I wasn't gonna use him at first. Because like he would never probably like, yeah, you don't need that, Jules. Here, here's some bestowed wisdom.
You already
Live
have-
life.
You've
you
been
know?
able to go home all along, Dorothy.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Been
And
home this whole time.
but under the assumption that he could smoke, I think that would be my number one choice.
I like it.
That's good.
Mike, number two.
So number one, I will go with. We are all comics here, and so I'm gonna stay in that vein. I am passionate about Minecraft, and this is a guy that I always watch, and I could have learned so much from. And I would love to be able to smoke a blunt with Bill Hicks.
I thought it was one of two guys, and you said somebody else.
Yeah.
Okay.
You thinking Carlin or Pryor?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going Bill Hicks.
Comedians who
And-
read each other's minds about that. Kind of shit.
Yeah. And I think Bill Hicks is one of those guys that his comedy is so much more than comedy, and it was so beyond what the norm was at that time. And honestly, if you watch it now, he could have been saying the exact same profound things, and it would still be just as
Yeah.
profound now, because
He would have been
nobody
huge
can
right now.
still nobody can touch what he did. And also, if you've looked in, like, he's got an interesting documentary. I think it's on Netflix.
American.
Yeah, I think it's on Netflix, right? You should check that out for
think it's
sure.
good.
Just a dude that loved to explore the areas of his mind that we sometimes fear, and he would do mushrooms, he would do psychedelics just to get to that point. And weed, I think, would just be something that he'd be into.
And to own it. I mean, even though you're a comic and like you have that outlet to speak about it, so I think some people still wouldn't feel like, yeah, I do mushrooms all the time. Yeah, I fucking think about that.
He
shit.
was who he was.
He was
and I
totally
think
open about
the
it.
beautiful thing about comedy, and where I want to go with my comedy specifically, is the fact that I want to be able to get on stage and let the audience, by the end of however long I've been on stage, know that they just saw me, they learned more about me, and I was who I was on stage, off stage. And I don't think anybody was more himself than Bill Hicks. And so I think
You
that...
can make the argument for Stanhope, but he's not dead yet.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. We're talking. Yeah, Bill Hicks was a cool dude. He died too soon, cancer, like 33, some shit like that. And so
Wow.
Bill Hicks is my choice.
He was one of the last comics to really have to deal with censorship when he would go on TV and stuff like that.
Letterman
And
didn't put his last.
the JFK bit.
Yeah.
Another person on this list. Interesting. Richie, who you got?
Very good choice.
My number one person is gonna have to be Tupac Shakur.
wondering when he'd come up.
Tupac Shaker.
Thought that would come up.
Tupac
He's
Shaker.
no Big L. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, so like it's always Tupac Biggie. Tupac was in a different place mentally. The guy had a vision. He had a goal. And it's crazy when you think about the profound effect, the lasting effect these guys had by the time they were 24, 25 years old. That's
Especially
I'm
basically
fucking-
when everybody else has a head start over you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you ever listen to like, so there's this recording of, and it just came out recently, not that recently, but recently-ish, of Tupac after he got out of prison and he's on the phone. I don't know, I can't remember who he
With
was on the phone
Domino's.
with. Yeah, he's on the phone with Domino's,
it's
and he's
crazy.
like, 30 minutes or less, motherfucker. Jeez. You can edit, please. Okay.
We
I
digress.
just threw a wrench into your whole
yeah.
thing. Yeah, sorry, man.
But he was a profoundly positive person. And I like, like there's the whole gangster rap thing and like people have a problem with that, but that's what the guy came from.
they
but
wonder
he-
why they call you bitch, that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Like, there's the women stuff too. Yeah.
He was kind of a little hypocritical with some of the stuff. Cause
Who's-
you
who's
can't
not-
do,
who's
yeah,
not
but,
hip-
but he was
everyone on
beautifully
this list
hypocritical
is-
in
yeah.
a way where he was everything, and he was always himself too.
Yeah.
But it's still
'Cause
like
we're all
that's still
hypocritical,
that's still the mind. He wanted to change it, but
artists.
it's still the mindset of coming up in that place. And,
Right.
And he and Big really kind of like took that whole mentality to the next level. But when guys like NWA and Pac and Big were saying that stuff and talking about that stuff, it's because it was true. It's because it was real. Like this was the terrible fucking situations that these guys came from. And today it's not. There's not any real point being communicated. There's no and there doesn't have to be a message to the music.
No, yeah, there's not.
But there genuinely fucking was, man. Like, this was something so fucking real to these guys, and it scared people when it started going public. It fucking scared people.
Well, the cool thing about him too is he wasn't just a hip hop artist. He was just an artist.
Yeah.
And he was the first dude to really be like, damn,
Make
this
the
dude
same
can
argument
rap.
for Bill Hicks wasn't
And
really a comedian.
exactly, yeah. And
artist.
he was just his poetry, his acting. Pac is definitely an interesting dude.
I mean, the smartest and most creative people can, everyone has a preferred medium, but the smartest and most creative people aren't
Everything is their
restricted
medium,
to that
maybe,
medium. Yeah, everything bounces off of everything else. So, yeah, I just appreciate the fact that he was like a guy from a terrible situation who knew, like, I'm not going to, like, support the whole beef thing, East Coast and West Coast, but, it says something to, like, stand up for what you believe in when it's life-threatening and, it could be over any second, and but it's just who you are. You can't change that.
You ever wonder if he would have if he died at the right time, that he had done everything he could? I always wonder
I think
that.
he was.
That
he was
certain
just barely
people
getting
actually
shot.
need
man.
to. I always think that certain people actually.
He could have been on
just
The Voice
die
right
where it's
now,
like,
or on like.
He could be. Oh yeah, he could have sold out. Like I always say about DMX.
Look
If
at Snoop
DMX
Dogg.
died after his
Snoop
third
Dogg was on trial
album,
for
he would be
murder.
referred to
think
as
so?
one of the greatest hip hop artists ever. If DMX died after his third album, but Tupac and Biggie both died at a time. Now, Pac, I think, more than Biggie would have been definitely good. He would have been amazing. He would have been a good actor. I think it would have been Will Smith of Hollywood at this point, which would have been weird to see because he started at such different places. But
Just look at Snoop Dogg, where he was at that time and where he is now. Like,
Right,
he was on
yeah.
trial for murder.
right.
Straight up for murder. And now he's like,
Pac
I
could have been
bet
in
he was on
politics
Sesame
now.
Street once.
Last
Like,
last word on Pac. Go read some of the shit that Tupac has written, and some of the shit that he left behind.
Yeah.
And he was such.
He had a work ethic too.
Yeah, well, he just had.
Heavy.
That's the cool thing about all these guys is they all have a different point of view and a different influence in their own sphere. But he was such a charismatic, and the guy was just like I think I don't agree with what you said. Like maybe he died at the right time, because there's certain people who just have a way about them and a way of attaching people to them, and he was so eloquent in trying to say what he wanted to say, and just like. I don't know. There's no one who matched his point of view or what he was trying to do or the progress that he made as quickly as he did it. And he was just fucking a great artist.
You got a little preachy at the
I gotta
end there.
say,
I'm kidding.
no disrespect to the Buddha and
No,
your beliefs.
I felt it was a long shot. Right? As soon as it spilt over my lips, I'm like, shit.
I knew what I was getting into.
Yeah.
When you said Bill Hicks, I was like, well, that's it. And when you said Tupac, I was like, it's still Bill Hicks.
Yeah.
But you make a good argument. I never disliked Tupac. I'm not a huge rap guy.
Yeah, I get
I
that.
really, who I like a lot is that Ghostface Killer. Big fan of it.
Dude, that is my
I've got
face. He's for the children.
Iron Man is
I
my
love
favorite
Ghost.
rap
Wu-Tang is
album.
for the children.
Ghostface.
You know
I
that
don't know if
about
you knew
me.
this, but Wu-Tang is for the children.
There's never
Pretty
any.
much Wu-Tang and all its offshoots.
Killer
Like
Bees.
that's the only kind of rap I'm into, pretty much.
There's never an
Yeah,
incorrect
which is not
answer when you
bad.
say who's your favorite Wu-Tang
With a nice
Clan
Jeep,
member,
too.
but
They're all the right
the
answer.
right answer is always Ghostface.
Yeah. But I could get behind everything you said about Tupac.
Sure.
And he has stories. I feel like anything Hicks would have told me would have just been repeating himself because he was so concise and clear about everything when he was alive. I think
have just
Tupac
hated
might
on
have
Dennis
some
Leary.
stories.
Also, you can
So-
get into
So you
some
get the-
conspiracy shit with Tupac, too.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, you could do that with Bill Hicks.
Yeah,
You could really
True,
do that.
but
you could really do it.
Tupac was involved in the conspiracy shit.
Now here's one. But is Tupac a better person to smoke with than Jimi Hendrix?
I mean, would you have Tupac without Jimi Hendrix?
You're enabling Jimi Hendrix. I can't bring it up again.
Would you have Tupac without Jimi Hendrix?
Yeah.
I can't stress this
Right.
enough.
I don't know.
Is that a dumb question?
Maybe. I don't think. No, I think you would still have Tupac without Jimi Hendrix.
Sure.
I
Oh,
think
yeah.
if you've
saying
smoked
just
weed,
'cause
you've
they're
smoked
both
weed with Jimi
black?
Hendrix already.
Yeah, that's the only
Like,
reason
Yeah,
why.
that's
It's
the
'cause
only
they're black
reason.
musicians.
Are they?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
he was
I never even noticed.
he was half black and half Cherokee.
I'm really good at
Jimi
finding
Hendrix,
patterns
yeah.
and things, so that's why I asked that question.
I'm really good at seeing race.
Yeah, I see race pretty
I
good.
see it right away, man.
You can edit
right.
this.
It's the first thing I notice.
Right off the
Edit
bat.
out most of my talking in this episode.
What's your Jimi Hendrix argument?
That he's Jimi Hendrix, basically. It
strong
Oh,
platform.
you know what? I can't argue with that.
Strong platform.
He was Jimi Hendrix.
It was like Bob Marley. Or
You're not wrong.
Some cool Air Force stories. He was in the Air Force. He was in the Army. He was a parachuter guy.
Okay.
So I mean that was really cool, especially paratrooper in the Korean War, I believe. So that was like old school, like paratrooper shit. Like he could have got killed by surface to air guns and shit.
That'd
like
be
How
that.
did he die?
He died by choking on his own vomit.
It's a bummer.
Oh,
Tupac-
so it wasn't after a Tyson
Yeah.
fight in Vegas.
Tupac got capped by his enemies. It's like after like the third time they tried to do it. So
Have you heard my awful fucking Tupac bit or Tupac, Biggie, and Lil Wayne in heaven? I don't. Do
Yeah,
that.
I have heard.
Yeah.
I don't do that anymore. It's just So sometimes thinking about Tupac.
Vegas.
Yeah. Grape soda and Robitussin.
I saw you do it
That's
at
a
the Hidden
terrible way
House,
to die.
and I don't remember if it killed at the Hidden House or
never
it
killed.
killed the Hidden House.
It never killed.
I forget.
It never killed, and it was all I had for a while. and
That
I
was the
was-
last joke ever told at Hidden House.
Yeah.
I think I told it once in front of like some young people, and they were like, "Yeah, that's funny." And then I tried it. Like I remember I tried it at the break room comedy contest.
Yeah,
up
where
on-
never a better litmus test.
Yeah.
It was a room full of straight
Judges.
black people playing pool and smoking.
Are you serious?
You know for a fact that none of them were homosexuals, though?
There's no straight up black people. I
Oh,
have to
okay.
say. Yeah, but you're right. Straight black. People.
Straight hyphen up.
It was very much like the blackest room I've ever seen, and like I was like, I'm gonna do the Tupac and Biggie and Lil Wayne bit, man. They're gonna love it.
Crushed. Just killed
Fucking,
it.
I just saw
Silence.
all these guys just turn away from me, and they were looking away and shit, and I was like,
uh-oh.
okay, great. Yeah,
Fuck.
yeah.
Whoop,
I
like-
should not have been talking about Tupac and Biggie and Lil Wayne.
New joke.
Yeah, so even though it brings up horrible memories of that joke bombing
Sure.
for me, I gotta say Tupac.
I take sacks to the face whenever I
Really?
Can you
Wow.
come here next week?
Serious?
Wow.
He just closed out. We were all at
Yeah.
one after
Wow.
3. He gets the
Wow.
last 2.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a comeback.
Richard.
dude.
I didn't see that coming.
Jesus.
I didn't want to make this the Richie show. I really
I
wanted
know.
I really wanted one of you guys to come back next week, but
Sorry. Sorry.
Yeah.
Bad picks.
I feel like I did something bad. I feel like I did something wrong.
well,
You should.
this
That
this
was-
should be people are going to see this and they're going to know what they have to do to win.
Crush it.
Yeah.
Fucking crush it.
You guys were great. Though. And we will see you next week.
Cheers.
Salud.